Here's the trivia for Bugonia. I did the full review. I did the full review on my other channel if you want to check that out. The first one is Aiden Delbis, who had never acted professionally before, was cast as Don after Yorgos Lanthimos decided to find a non-professional neurodivergent actor to provide a different dynamic alongside Emma Stone and Jesse Plemons. That's really cool. He was... I felt bad for the character. You'll see. I feel pretty bad for him. Emma Stone had her head shaved on camera, and just minutes before the scene was shot, she shaved the head of her friend, director Yorgos Lanthimos. Pretty funny. Yorgos Lanthimos asked composer Jerskin Fendrix, interesting name, to create the scores for Poor Things in 23 and Kinds of Kindness in 24 by reading the scripts without seeing any footage of the films. What? By reading the scripts? So he just made it up from reading it and guessing how it would translate or how that would sound? What? For Bugonia this year, Lanthimos did not provide the script, giving Fendrix only 4 keywords to work with: bees, basement, spaceship, Emily Bald. What? That's why the music is so weird. It's like boom, 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 and then the like the really high-pitched violins. Lots of synth music. Pretty cool. In Bugonia 2025's, there's 35 of these, by the way. In Bugonia's kidnapping scene, kidnappers wear Jennifer Aniston masks. An idea from Yorgos Lanthimos, a huge Friends fan. They obtained enthusiastic consent from Aniston, who is of half Greek descent. What? Oh, yeah, okay, I see. That's pretty cool, pretty funny, though. For screening in LA, attendees could enter for free, but only if they were bald or agreed to shave their head on site. Emma Stone, my bad, revealed in an interview that it was her idea. Attendees could enter for free if they were bald or agreed to shave their head on site. That's so. I wonder how bald. Completely like this, like or like natural hair loss, bald, or like the shave. She had it buzzed down. It's technically I think it's a buzz cut. I think when it's that close, shaved is to the skin, so they don't really do that. But she has some hair. Aiden Delbis improvised the part where he asked to use the bathroom during the tense dinner scene. Really? What? He made it up? That's cool. Director Jang Joon-hwan, the original director of the 2003 cult classic Save the Green Planet, that's cool, in 2003, expressed admiration for the Bugonia 2025 remake, describing it as a magnificent variant with altered DNA reborn as if by aliens. That's cool. He also praised Emma Stone's powerful performance, noting it vividly brought to life the effect he had envisioned. I don't know why movies have that issue where it's a remake and it's bad. They literally, like, The Long Walk is a remake of The Running Man. Sorry, different athletic skill. No, I don't know. Running Man is a remake off the book, not the movie from 82 or whatever with Arnold. It's not a remake of the movie. It's a remake of the story. A lot of people will adapt the book story to the movie and change everything, like Dune and Dune 2. They dropped a lot of stuff out of those movies. I'm pretty sure the first one. So this being a remake of another movie, it seems to be like a good remake, because like what I'm saying is it seems like they learned what worked and didn't work and they made it work in this movie. So basically, like Save the Green Planet is a rough draft of Bugonia. And then they re-edited it, reshot it, did everything. And Bugonia is the final version of Jang Joon-hwan's idea. I think that a lot of movies don't do that. They don't seem to study what the original movie, you know, had special, all this stuff, whatever, and make and improve it even. So I keep saying that, like, the companies should make the movie and then don't release it yet. Give it to them. They watch it themselves. Kevin Feige, they're like, you know, whoever, you know, I'm guess specifically Marvel. They should watch it first and be like, hey, I got some ideas. We could fix it. Go in, change it, you know, whatever, make it better, and then get the director from the original one to say something like this, and now you have a Bugonia movie instead of a Save the Green Planet. I mean, you know what I mean. Not that Save the Green Planet is bad. I don't think I've seen it, but I'm just saying, if perhaps the guy had a different vision, and at the time in 2003, the technology or whatever prevented him from obtaining that or attaining it, because now it seems like he sees what his movie, he's like, oh yes, that's what I envisioned. That makes sense. Not that way, like that. So this is pretty cool. I wish a lot of like movies who do that, whatever, just like study it more and figure out what makes the movie good and emphasize that and focus on that. The next one is Bugonia 2025 is an adaptation inspired by the 2003 South Korean film Save the Green Planet. Initially, the original director, Jang Joon-hwan, was set to helm the project. Wow, working with American screenwriter Will Tracy on the screenplay. Due to health-related delays that prevented Jang Joon-hwan's continued involvement, CJ Entertainment, drawn to Yorgos Lanthimos' distinctive directorial vision, appointed him to lead the project forward instead. But that seems like it worked out really well. His distinctive directorial vision. I mean, I recommend this movie. You got to see it. It's pretty crazy to watch. It's pretty good. But this is very interesting. This guy was gonna direct it or set the helmet. Yeah, he was gonna direct it. Wow. It wouldn't have looked the way that it looked. And for Lanthimos' idea to give 4 words to the composer to make the music, that's a crazy idea. Like, you're gonna get some really distinct things that, when combined with the visuals, is I mean, it's gonna be so interesting and insane. The sound is gonna be just so different. What they should do is have the composer make the music now and see what he would have come up with. Well, no, because he would be influenced by the sound that he currently did come up with. But anyway, yeah, this is pretty cool. Next one is, when asked about her character Michelle needing to shave her head for Bugonia, Emma Stone shared that she embraced her transformation as part of an actor's job. She noted that physical changes like bulking up or shaving her head are part of the fun of diverse roles. Stone found shaving her head to be the easiest transformation, saying it was quicker and more enjoyable than gaining 15 pounds of muscle. Yeah, well, that's cool. In this interview with Edith Bowman, Yorgos Lanthimos revealed he teared up for the first time on set, overwhelmed by newcomer Aidan Delbis's extraordinary presence in his very first role, a casting choice he described as major. Really? Wow. It must be so different in those moments, like personal, like, you know, before all the movie's done and they're promoting it, like 2 years before the movie comes out. That's crazy. That's really cool that they decided to do that. Aidan Delbis. They should do something like this. You know, Wes Anderson reuses the same actors. He's always got the same people. Jeff Goldblum, Bill Murray. They always show up all the time for his movies. Christopher Nolan. I think, I forgot who he's always working with. Same people usually. But this guy should develop a crew of people he works with. And Jesse Plemons. And then come up with more stuff. I gotta look in the Lanthimos and see what else he's made. Does it all look the same? Is it Is it like the simple story that looks like something's going on, like Burn After Reading, but something is actually going on? This movie is like Burn After Reading if the memoirs were the actual CIA stuff, right? That's funny. The next one is, after successfully employing VistaVision for the reanimation sequence in Poor Things in 23, Lanthimos decided to use this technology for the majority of scenes in this film. This is the third film of the 21st century shot substantially in VistaVision after The Brutalists and One Battle After Another. VistaVision. So it looked good in the animation sequence part, and then he wanted to use it for the majority of scenes. Interesting. So here's what VistaVision is. I didn't really know about it. VistaVision is a high-resolution widescreen film format from the 1950s that captures images by running 35 millimeter film horizontally through the camera instead of vertically. This doubles the area of the negative compared to standard 35 millimeter film, resulting in a much more detailed and high-quality image that could be cropped to a widescreen aspect ratio. Paramount Pictures developed it to compete with other widescreen formats and the rising popularity of television. Wow, that's cool. The horizontal movement allows each frame to use 8 perforations of film across its width compared to the standard 4, creating a negative that is roughly twice the size of a regular 35 millimeter frame. That's cool. High resolution, the larger negative captures more detail, which results in a sharper and clearer image. Wow. And then widescreen aspect ratio, the negative aspect ratio of a VistaVision frame is about 1.5 to 1, but it can be cropped to standard widescreen formats like 1.66 to 1, 1.85 to 1, or 2 to 1. Wow. Well, it was used in Star Wars and The Matrix. The format's high quality negative made it a popular choice for special effects work in later decades. Well, that's pretty cool. That's why it looks the way it does, on top of Lanthimos' directing style. Despite playing mother and son, Alicia Silverstone is only 12 years older than Jesse Plemons. That's funny. Oscar-winning production designer, she would have had him at 12 years old then, right? I guess. Oscar-winning production designer James Price built the house and basement where most of Bugonia scenes take place from scratch. What? He built the house and basement. Wow. That's so cool. In the scene where Teddy rides his bicycle to work, he has headphones on and is listening to an actual real podcast called Tinfoil Tales from 22. That's funny. Jang Jun Hwan has said he was involved in the early stage of the remake script, and that a key decision was changing the original film's male CEO villain into a female corporate leader, a choice he praised when he saw Emma Stone's performance. Wow. Well, that's cool. So this movie is special in a way. Bugonia marks Lanthimos' second non-originally developed film after The Favorite in 18. He accepts offered projects only with full creative control, from appointing department heads to overseeing the final cut, fully reflecting his artistic vision. That's smart. Emma Stone shaved her head completely for Bugonia without hesitation, and it was done on screen, although she immediately hid it from the public. It was kept a closely guarded secret in production, with her wearing a wig in public. Yeah. She was very emotionally affected by it, initially due to her mother losing her hair to chemotherapy, but quickly grew to love it and wished she could be openly bald. You can. Now she likes it. Okay, I don't know. That's weird. Probably lost in the acting stuff. Bugonia presumably comes from begonia, a flower, which switching out the first initial to spell bug in keeping with Teddy and Don's beliefs that Michelle is an alien. Huh. I had a thought that bug was specific. I was like, Bugonia. Interesting. The term begonia, usually spelled Bugonia, primarily refers to an ancient Greek ritual for generating bees from a cow carcass, based on the erroneous belief that bees are formed from the bodies of recently deceased animals. Given that the main character is described as a beekeeper, that's probably where the title comes from. Wow. This is like the whole movie. Like Tenet is the Rhodes square, that is those letters that make 5 words or 6, whatever, words in any way. Pretty cool. But that's Tenet is basically the same thing, whatever. Begonia, yeah, Begonia comes from the begonia flower. That is so interesting. Wow. Probably refers to an ancient Greek ritual for generating bees from a cow carcass. So they're formed. So that makes no sense. I don't know. That's weird. Wow. According to cinematographer Robbie Ryan, the hardest actors to work with were the bees. The crew installed a beehive on location weeks in advance and shot on a scorching day with around 30 crew members in full beekeeper suits, only for the bees to refuse to pollinate on camera. The final close-up of bees on flowers were instead grabbed spontaneously at a completely different location near a security kiosk when the team happened upon a more cooperative hive. Wow. That's, for everybody who worked that's a classic story. They probably joke about that one. That's funny. The scene where Emma Stone's character shaves her head had to be filmed in a single take with 4 VistaVision cameras rolling simultaneously. Wow. Because the cameras were moody and prone to shutting down, the crew had to spend a long time setting up, during which Stone got cold feet and briefly panicked before going through with it. She later called the experience one of the most freeing of her life, even though she hid the look under beanies and wigs for months. Yeah, I don't know. I feel like they like the center of it to be the center of attention and the spotlight. So they should be fine with this. So is this like a defense mechanism where she reverts? They all revert into acting. So they go and they over exaggerate what this is, and it's like, it's relax. It'll grow back. You know, you're an actor. You know, you like the spotlight on you. Like, and then you go, oh, you're making more of the spotlight on you. I see. This isn't real. You know, you're just using this like, oh my God, I'm getting my head shaved. It's like, because all you know what to do is like to act. You don't know how to like be yourself. A lot of people lose themselves. I don't know. I mean, I think, could you imagine like Jared Leto, like going too ham for a role? I don't know. I'm sure you're good at it, but he looks like, you ever see him in an interview or a video of Jared Leto? That guy's weird. He's cool, but he's weird. He just needs the cameras on him. Look at me. So, I don't know. I feel like these actors don't know who they are. This film was shot in multiple countries. Was primarily filmed in Henley-on-Thames. What? England. Henley-on-Thames. Probably pronouncing that wrong. Further scenes were filmed in Atlanta, USA, and the final chapter includes scenes shot on Milos Island, Greece. It also marks his first English-language feature-length film with scenes filmed in his native Greece. Oh, cool. Nice. Emma Stone's 5th collaboration with Philanthropist after The Favorite in 18, Bleat in 22, Poor Things 23, and Kinds of Kindness in 24. Production designer James Price says Michelle's glassy minimalist home was shot in a real house built by the CEO of a FTSE 100 corporation whose taste for expensive designer furniture matched the character's status. I love that house. Looked cool. Paired along with Lanthimos shots, I think it resulted in some cool looking visuals for sure. That's so cool. Before the Fantastic Fest screening of Bugonia, organizers provided a barber to give attendees a full head shave, emulating Emma Stone's bald look in the movie to enhance the immersive and exciting viewing experience. Many attendees eagerly joined the activity. Wow. Bugonia will feature new, unknown professional actors alongside stars Jesse Plemons and Emma Stone. This was a deliberate choice by Lanthimos, who is well known for frequently casting both professional and non-professional unknown actors in his films. This time, however, their contribution will evidently be more significant. Wow. As of 25 this year, Bugonia contains a higher percentage of VistaVision footage than any feature film since One-Eyed Jacks in 1961, which was the final VistaVision film made in the classical Hollywood era. With an estimated budget in the $45 to $55 million range, Bugonia is the most expensive film of Lanthimos' career to date, significantly larger in scale than his earlier English language works. Wow. Oh, hey, this one's interesting, I guess. Stavros Halkias keeps what remaining hair he has long and was going to argue for a cop ponytail, but seeing that Emma Stone had shaved her head led him to consider that argument lost before it began. That's funny. That's cool to see this guy in that movie. Lanthamus sent Bugonia's script to writer Elphimus Philippou, and after reading it, he said to himself, wow, I really wish I had written that. What? That's so funny. I'm sure people have that all the time. Krista Stone, Emma Stone's mother, is a big fan of Lanthamus, just like her daughter. In an interview on The Late Show with Colbert in 2015, Emma said that he holds her in high regard as well, and lists some of her notes in the editing room during his work on the film Bugonia. That's cool. Stavros Halkias was a huge fan of Lanthamus' previous films and jumped at the chance to audition, even in the middle of a self-imposed year-long break. Yeah, that's an opportunity for a lot of people. A movie break? Awesome. Do it. For the first time, Lanthamus has shared a decision. Following the release of this 9th film, Bugonia, marking nearly 2 decades since his debut feature Kinetta in 2005, he will temporarily step away from filmmaking to focus on photography, capturing the landscapes of his native Greece. Given his unwavering commitment to developing projects, Lanthamus' hiatus is anticipated to be brief, with an imminent return to cinema. Wow. Now he has to follow up Bugonia. What do you think he's going to do? It's got to be simple. This was a remake of something else. Maybe he should do another remake. Unless he has something original of his own idea. But maybe he needs to be put with a project that's another remake of something. That his style, though. Like, what would it... I don't know what he could do. It's got to be a weird... like an isolated incident kind of movie, but it's like, but it can't be Bugonia. See, it can't be like, oh, this is like Bugonia. You know what I mean? It has to be, whoa, another Lanthamus movie. It's filmed weirdly. Maybe it's like more colorful. Maybe it's even like a heist movie. And you think it looks like the heist people are wrong the whole time or something, you know what I mean? And then there's a twist, or, you know, like it distracts you and it turns out, hey, they were right or something. I don't know. Or Bugonia 2? Tugonia? Do you think they're going to do that? Yorgos Lanthimos worked on his script with the writer Will Tracy in order to make it a little bit more his own. That's cool. Screenwriter Will Tracy was first introduced to Save the Green Planet in 2003 by producer Ari Aster, who mentioned the 2003 Korean film over lunch in 2019 and sent him a janky video file link. Tracy, who had never seen it before, immediately saw how its premise could work as a contemporary American-set English language remake, which eventually became Bugonia. Wow, that's interesting. See, this seems like a good use of that. I just think that movies need to film something, do a final cut, and keep it. And just cycle it through send it to all the other directors, get everybody's feedback, fix it if it needs fixing, refilm it, and then make a Bugonia, but never release Save the Green Planet. Keep that one, destroy that one. And then, or include it with the box set, you know, the 50th anniversary DVD box set, you know, and then make a Bugonia. And then the Bugonia is the final cut. I feel like movies just don't do that. Movies are permanent. They're literally permanent. Any movie that's bad will be there forever. And it's so embarrassing. I know they're supposed to do work and whatever, blah, blah, blah. But when they're intentionally bad, and like Captain America Brave New World, that looked like Hulk was going to be in it, and he's in it at the end, where they shouldn't have shown him at all and would have been awesome. That. They should have kept that movie, and it would have been like, hey, wait a second. I think we need to add in Red Hulk attack opening scene. Who's the Red Hulk? And then later it happens again. And then Sam finds out, kinda, I guess. And then the leader outs the president, and then that's the final battle. So we've gotten 2 more battles. And if they did this method to that movie, they would have kept Captain America Brave New World, kept that movie, and then they would have fixed it and said, hey, we need to add in 2 more scenes of Red Hulk. A crazy opening scene where Sam fights him and loses. And then the second one where Sam loses again, but he finds a hint that it's Thaddeus. And then they do it again. They bring Anthony Mackie back. They bring everybody back, Harrison Ford, and they film it again, and it's perfect. They go, hey, we did it that way. That was stupid. We're going to do the shot better. They do it again. Perfect. And then you get a Bugonia instead of a Save the Green Planet. So I think these movies need to be doing that. Specifically Marvel, as of late. They could have kept Quantumania and then said, hey, this is weird. We need to fix this and that and that. Why is Janice being like this? All the weird stuff that happened with that movie. They could have changed it and they would have had a Bugonia. A beautiful flower rather than a weed, that shouldn't have grown in the first place. Now you wish you'd poisoned it with poison. Anyway, during a night scene at a picnic table on location outside London, Jesse Plemons noticed a wallaby walk up just over co-star Adrian Elba's shoulder. Adrian Delbus' shoulder. Emma Stone deadpanned, of course there's a wallaby. And Plemons said the surreal moment somehow just felt right. Really? Dude, night scene at a picnic table on location outside. Was this during filming? Oh, wait. During a night scene. Oh. So I wonder if that's going to be released in the outtakes or the deleted scenes. I hope they do. That'd be cool. James Price is the production designer for the film Bugonia, marking his second collaboration with Lanthimos after his Oscar win for the production design of Poor Things in 2023, shared with fellow production designer Shauna Heath. That's cool. Jennifer Johnson is the first costume designer that Yorgos Lanthimos works with more than once. That's cool. First film directed by Lanthimos since Alps in 2011, not to be produced in part by Film 4 Productions. Oh. The cast includes 1 Oscar winner, Emma Stone, and 1 Oscar nominee, Jesse Plemons. That's awesome. Hexagons, the repeating shape that makes up honeycomb with a beehive, can be seen multiple times in Teddy and Don's house. The house was built from the foundation up, specifically for the movie, allowing this motif to be hidden throughout. Most notably as an attic window, the grating that makes up the back of the basement staircase, and the shape of the kitchen cupboard Teddy grabs plates out of before serving the coconut cake. That's awesome. That is so cool. They really got into this movie. Okay, next are spoilers for anyone who hasn't seen the movie. Even though I feel like some of those felt spoilery, didn't it? Bugonia is an ancient Greek word meaning progeny of an ox. It refers to a ritual that sprang from a myth that bees could spontaneously generate from the carcass of an ox. Oh, killed without any blood being spilled. A means of sacrifice that generally resulted in prolonged suffering for the animal, like clubbing. This parallels the ending of the film where humanity is wiped out without bloodshed in order for Earth to regenerate in its absence. Oh, so that was a targeted to humanity. That was targeted towards humanity. That's why it looked like she popped the dome, like the atmosphere, and the air went away. But the dogs were still breathing. I feel like that could have been fixed, maybe. See, that's the one thing I guess I had an issue with. She pops the air, the atmosphere thing, but the humans are dead. There should be like a kill humans only button. Pressed it, and then all the humans only die. Because the dog and the cat were still alive, and there's 2 shots. Interesting. In the script, the ending montage originally showed people dropping dead, but Lanthimos thought it would be more effective to show them already dead. Yeah, I think that's cool and easier to film. Just everybody lay down, cameras are ready, they do their shots, 10 minutes. Okay, we're good, cut, everybody go. That's it. They're done shooting. Rather than falling and falling and falling, and some people don't fall right, maybe. That's cool. Good idea. Better choice. James Price based the Andromedan spaceship on body organs, a womb-shaped pool, and then everything around it is skeletal. All the buildings that evolved from it are based on human organs like the liver or kidneys. That is so cool. Most of the Andromedans are played by miscellaneous members of the film's crew, including composer Jerskin Fendrix, production stills photographer Atsushi Nishijima portrays the chief Andromedan, the only speaking role among the crew. Wow! That's hilarious. Xanthimus initially wanted to shoot part of the film's climactic death montage at the Acropolis in Athens, but Greece's Central Archaeological Council denied permission. The production instead shot those scenes on Sarakiniko Beach on the island of Milos. That's cool. The name of Michelle's company, Oxalith, could be interpreted as meaning growth stone in Greek, the director's native language. That could be a reference to how Michelle initially came to Earth to inspire humanity's development. Much like the monolith in 2001, A Space Odyssey in 1968. Wow, that's really interesting. According to James Price, the production design gives away the twist that Michelle Fuller is an alien. So I was thinking about that. It was tricky to navigate, he admitted, but I wanted to be obvious. If you're looking at it, that she's an alien, she lives in a spaceship, her office is a spaceship, a kind of modernist sense of spaceship. Price cites his previous work on the spy feature, the Ipcris file in 22, as an influence. Major Dalby is the villain, but you don't believe it. He's in a lair with black floors, and everything about the set production and design tells you that that guy's the baddie. But because everything he's saying is so patriotic and on point, you refuse to believe he's a villain. That is so funny. That's what I'm saying. The next movie he does, it needs to have that thing. Something's going on, and either it is or it isn't. Or I guess it has to be that is what's going on, and everything around it looks like that's not what's going on. If he can do that again, and that is Xanthimus style or whatever, and he really harnesses that in, and really crafts it, like it makes it perfect, I think he's going to have like an award-winning film formula, really. The Andromedan royal court literally resembles a hive, with Nichloas dressed as and acting like a queen bee. It has a hint of funniness in the throughout it. There's moments where it's like, oh, this is sad, but okay, that's so silly, like that. She looks like a bee at the end. Michelle is stated to be 45 years old, but Emma Stone was 36 during filming. Teddy comments that Michelle looks much younger than her age, which she puts down to her fitness and skincare regimen. But this is possibly a clue that Michelle is not a normal human. Michelle is seen singing along to the chorus of the song Good Luck Babe by Chappelle Roan while driving home in her car. One lyric that Michelle sings repeatedly in this context is, you'd have to stop the world just to stop the feeling. At the end of the film, Michelle kills the entire population of Earth, effectively stopping the world and ending both her own species' feelings of regret for the human race and the feelings of everyone like Teddy, who had felt that something was wrong with somehow and were driven to conspiracy theories. Oh, that's interesting. Wow. It's like they're putting the focus into the wrong thing. And it went so far that they happened to kidnap one of them and it gets out of hand. That's so interesting. Like right now, like the aliens here on Earth and stuff are trying not to be seen, but they're studying us because we're like on the verge of killing each other. You know what I mean? Like we hate each other so much. They're trying to figure out, oh my God, the project's veering off course, Like when your Sims game, they start a fire and the house burns down, It's like that. This is what's happening now in Portland. No, you know what I mean? In New York soon. But I'm just saying, this is really interesting. Maybe that's what's going on. Maybe the aliens are like, hey, you guys, you need to focus on yourselves. Don't worry about us. But, I mean, it looks like the alien, it doesn't seem like that's what's happening here. I'm just saying, I mean, in this world, I don't know how they figured out or got the hint or thought that there are aliens, because here there are sightings. And if you're trying to keep it kind of low, I don't think that you're really going to like expose your ship and show yourself. You're trying to hide, right? Why? You know what I mean? I don't think this is what's happening now. So, you know, like if we keep prying to aliens, I don't think aliens are going to close the Earth project. I don't think that's going to happen. I think, you know, whatever about that. But anyways, I'm just saying, you know, but this is so interesting. This is wild. Costume designer Jennifer Johnson collaborated with production designer James Price on this film. Inspired by his uterine bioluminescent jellyfish sets. Oh, wow. Johnson transformed knitting into feminist sci-fi craft. Using Swiss crinoline horsehair, she created Michelle's macrame gown with 16,700 meters of tubing held by a heavy undersuit. Emily's wire cage costume offered queenly comfort. That's such weird wording. That is really interesting. Wow. That's the thing that she's wearing at the end, I think, right? Yeah, up close, they show it, and it looks like macaroni. Or weaves, you know, like weaving. Michelle's Oxolith headquarters exterior and office were filmed in a modern office complex outside London with huge glass expanses. Price laid a long, dark carpet and stark open plan layout so the building would feel like a sleek spaceship hugging the landscape, visually reinforcing the idea that Michelle lives and works inside a spacecraft. That is hilarious. The idea that humanity was created by aliens resembles the pseudo-scientific theories of Swiss author Erich von Daniken, most notably his 1968 book, Chariots of the Gods. Wow. I don't know. I definitely consider this to be a possibility that aliens made us, and there's a project the galaxy is in a fish tank in a lab. That's the Milky Way in there. All the planets. And there's a lab with, you know, other ones maybe in a lab in a scientist of aliens. They do it in Men in Black. First one or the second one. At the end, they go in the locker, they zoom out, and they're like in a locker, something like that. But yeah, I mean, it makes sense. I definitely consider it, you know. The teaser trailer is cut to Gunday's basket case, while the full trailer uses Chappelle Roan's Good Luck Babe, the same song Michelle later sings in the car in the finished film. That's cool. This is the anthem, most English language film that features fellow Greeks or individuals of Greek descent on screen, whether through physical presence or mere reference, including Stavros Halkias as a police officer, the ship's captains Yorgos Stefanikos, and Efthimis Philippou, and Jennifer Aniston, who is referenced to Masks. What? That's so random. Wow. And the last one, Michelle is kidnapped by Teddy and Don while she listens to Good Luck Babe by Chappelle Roan. It takes place as the song slows down. Tempo change is one of the features of Jerskin Fendrix's score. Wow. That is so cool. And then some goofs for this movie, I guess, which it's some of the thoughts I had. I'm like, that sounds like a goof. And then I read one that I was like, oh, that one of something was a goof. So, continuity. After being attacked with a fork, Teddy's lost movement when he cuts a piece of cake, but at the beehive, he can attack the police officer. After being attacked with a fork, Teddy's lost movement. What? When he cuts a piece of cake? But at the beehives, he can attack the police officer. Oh. Maybe he healed. No. Yeah, that's strange. Oh. See, now this is something that kind of goes against my idea that they should make a movie and then make a remake so it's better. I mean, I don't know. These are just little things. See, that's the thing, though. I feel like every filmmaker should strive to have no continuity, no factual errors, or anything, right? Or plot holes. Like, your goal should be to have as little issues with the movie as possible, right? But this is like, yeah, I don't know. That's so weird. I don't know. It's just something like this. It's like nobody noticed. Wait a second. How am I able to hit this guy? Right? Oh, but you have to for this story. All right. Like, you know, a hawk would have to come down and attack him or something to make it, you know, whatever, like natural or whatever. And then next one is factual errors. Casey tells Teddy he wasn't the best babysitter, but the actor who plays Casey is a year younger than Jesse Plemons. What? Oh, that's Stavros Halkias. So he's younger than Jesse Plemons. Yeah, but in the movie it looks fine. See, no one see this. That's just like nitpicking. Like all the Stranger Things kids are older now. They're all like 20, whatever. You know what I mean? So, but this is like Stavros Halkias looked like an older cop, and Jesse Plemons looked like a younger conspiracy theorist person, right? So it looked fine on screen. This is like unnecessary. I don't know. Character error. When Teddy mispronounces shibboleth, however, Michelle mocks him for using poor grammar. But grammar is a set of rules for how a language is structured. That's funny. A mispronunciation is not a grammatical error. Yeah, shibboleth. That's just a mispronunciation. Like shibboleth, I guess, or shibboleth. And yeah, see, like that. Why didn't Jesse Plemons say that? And Emma Stone says, wait a second. She should have, like, they remembered the lines, I guess, in the script. So now they're, you know, this is the final cut, whatever. They're, you know, they don't need a line. They know their stuff, whatever. So, like, if you misspeak, you know it and you correct yourself. But, you know, this guy obviously is learned the word in that, with that pronunciation. But Emma Stone would have said that, and she would have said it the right way by accident. She would have said, oh, you're using bad grammar. She would have said, you don't know how to you mispronounced that word. And then Lanthimos would be like, cut, Emma, it's grammar, whatever. And she'd be like, no, it's what, and they look at the script, and then they'll be like, oh, that's wrong. You'd need to be making fun of him for his mispronunciation, not a grammatical error. And then she says, they go, action, and then they do it again, and then it's perfect. And then they have no character error. And now they only have these two things to deal with. So this one's stupid. This factual error, that's dumb. I don't count that one. It's literally this one that he gets stabbed in the arm, right? And then later he attacks the police officer. Okay, that one's stupid. And then the last one is something that, how did they not notice that when they're doing the scene? Somebody wrote it wrong. They rehearsed it wrong, okay? They remembered the lines wrong. And they acted the lines wrong. They filmed the lines wrong. And it got to the final cut. And there you go. That's so weird, right? I don't understand that. All right, and that's it for the trivia and everything with the movie. If you want, comment down below about what your favorite bit of trivia was.